tucked this one right off the foul pole down the right field line, tied this ball game up and sent it into extra innings. But then the Marlins, they were able to capitalize on a handful of opportunities to win it on a base hit by Ed Lucas. So they took game one. They ended a 4-game losing streak. Meanwhile, game number 2, well, first inning opportunities hurt the Phils, and then later on, Donovan Solano pushed across what turned out to be the only run the Marlins needed with a good piece of hitting. Tom Kohler, well, he was all over the strike zone, not only with a curveball, not only with a slider, but also with a very good fastball that would go up in the zone against the Phillies hitters. The Marlins were able to walk away with the victory, partly because of Kohler and partly because of their bullpen. Mike Dunn, who's been very good against the Phillies this year, more so than in past seasons, struck out 3 after allowing a leadoff base hit against the Phils. And as they rolled along, the Marlins took game number 2. The Phillies have lost 6 consecutive, and now they're going to try to salvage this 3-game series and end this losing streak tonight. It's game 3 against the Miami Marlins. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Jamie Moyer. You know, this 6-game losing streak for the Phillies is about missed opportunities in a lot of ways. And last night, the Phillies in the first inning had a missed opportunity to get things started well.
They did. But you look at the very beginning of the game, Ben Revere, Jimmy Rollins started this game off with a lot of energy. Got on base, got themselves into scoring position. And then the middle of the lineup, Utley, Marlon Byrd, and Ryan Howard really kind of put a damper on all of it. There was a 2 strikeouts and a first pitch ground ball right here, which got the Marlins out of a big jam, potential big jam. And really, the Marlins never looked back from there.
They never looked back from there. And during this 6-game losing streak, the Phillies have been outscored by 20 runs. But it's the average with runners in scoring position that has been so poor for the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies have really struggled with this here as of late. And early in the season, they struggled with it. And it's something that they've got to figure out. And I think on a daily basis, they have been working on that, but they have not been able to bring that to each at-bat during the course of the game and use it throughout the game when they have runners in scoring position.
All right, one guy that has been able to use all of those things, but on the other side is Jared Saltalamacchia for the Marlins, who's kind of settled into having a good year against the Phillies.
Yeah, he's now become the Philly killer. We talked about Chase Utley being the Marlin killer in the beginning of this series. Now we're looking at Jared Saltalamacchia, who's become that Philly killer, because not only is he doing it with the bat, he's doing it with his walks. He's walked 10 times versus the Phillies this year. He's gotten some key hits in not only in this series, but during the course of the season against the Phillies. And you see here, he's got 10 RBIs against the Phillies this season, and he only has 24 RBIs for the whole season.
And all of that is in 11 games against the Phils, and he just seems to play every game. Mike Redmond must give him a day off against everybody else except for the Phils. He's back in the lineup. The Phillies are going to try to lean on Kyle Kendrick tonight, making his 17th start of the season, and Brad Hand making his 3rd start. He's up from the minor leagues, off the disabled list for the Marlins. Speaking of Kyle Kendrick, during the course of his career, he's had very good numbers against the Marlins. Not so much this year, but he's trying to get himself back on track. When we return, we'll go to the Comcast Sportsnet studios. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Citizens Bank, introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota, the independent sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Budweiser, here's to Budweiser, here's to baseball. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross, live fearless. will translate to some success here tonight, particularly from an offensive standpoint, as the Phillies wrap up this 3-game series against the Miami Marlins. Let's take a look at the Phils lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Ben Revere leads it off in center field. Jimmy Rollins bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Marlon Byrd. Cesar Hernandez gets the start at third base. He'll bat sixth. Aaron Altair will make his first major league start. He's in left field hitting seventh. Cameron Rupp will bat eighth, and batting ninth and pitching is Kyle Kendrick. And they will face Marlins left-hander Brad Hand, 0-1 of the big leagues with an ERA of 6.38. A lot of those appearances, though, have come out of the bullpen. They sort of, I don't want to say hid him, but they kind of hid him down to the minor leagues after an injury. And we look at our Budweiser scouting report, Jamie, we're kind of learning along with everybody else when it comes to Brad Hand.
Yeah, Brad Hand is a 3-pitch pitcher, a fastball, curveball, and a changeup. Got an above-average fastball. He's got 1-11 as a starter with a 5.38 ERA. And as you said, Tom, he's 0-1 with a 6.38 ERA as of this year. So a kid that doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's got a lot of talent.
Well, it's already 1 ball and 1 strike to Ben Revere, who's hit in 7 consecutive games. Ben's hitting .291. And he slaps that one toward Ed Lucas. It's short. 1 away here in the first. And that'll bring Jimmy Rollins to the plate. Well, it's time now for our Nissan keys to today's ball game.
Okay, the first key for me is the pitching staff to put up 9 zeros tonight.
Oh, you're looking for a shutout, huh?
I am. Collectively do that. And my second key would be to take advantage of a spot starter in Brad Hand. And those would be our Nissan keys of the game.
Yeah, Hand is on the roster. Tom Kohler, who started last night's ball game, was immediately put on the paternity list, so he's out for a few days. Jimmy Rollins hitting .252 on the year. He has 8 home runs, 31 runs batted in. He has 3 hits in this series, 3 for 9. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rollins. And he hits it the other way. It's 1-2. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Franklin Jones of Middletown, Delaware. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Then Franklin will win $200. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rollins is 0 for 3 lifetime against Hand. Outside, 3-2. It's interesting watching his motion even against the first 2 batters, and we have seen him before against the Phillies. Is that what's grounded foul?
Yeah, his delivery is a little unorthodox, a little different than what we're used to seeing. Normally the pitcher has a little more turn in his mechanics, but he's not really hiding the ball that well, but he does have a lot of life on his fastball, and it's quite firm.
And that one's up high, ball 4, so Rollins draws a 1-out walk. That's 17 walks now in 24 in the 3rd innings in the big leagues for Hand. And that'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. Utley 0 for his last 9. His average at .288 with 6 home runs and 38 runs batted in. In fact, Chase and Ryan have combined to go 6 for 44 during the 6-game losing streak with no extra base hits, as they try to keep Rollins close over at first.
They've both, I don't want to say hit a wall, but are kind of in a lull. And again, it's part of the druthers that you go through during the course of the season, and individually you have to figure out what it takes for you to get out of that situation.
Everybody goes through it, whether it be position players or pitchers. The problem with the Phils is that they've had a good part of their core group go through it for a long period of time.
Yeah, and
different long periods of time.
Yeah, and that's where you need, the rest of your lineup, your bench players, and even when it happens in the pitching staff, that's where you hear the players talk about picking each other up. That's exactly what they have to do.
1 ball and 1 strike to Chase Utley. Utley has 2 hits and 6 career at bats against Brad Hand. took a long look over at Rollins. Rollins had a fairly short lead. Then decided to throw over. Rollins has stolen 15 bases. He's been caught 5 times. Little grounder foul. It's 1-2. Ryan Sandberg was talking today about Chase Utley. He did think that his at-bats last night were better. And the reason he talked about it is because he discussed yesterday Chase's struggles with his timing and everything. And he felt like yesterday there were signs that his timing was better. Runner goes, pitches hit foul as Utley stays alive. Rollins, who did get a good jump against the left-hander, will have to go back.
On Chase's first at bat, he looked like he got fooled by that curveball that he struck out on. It's a pitch that I don't believe he was expecting.
Against Kohler last night.
Yes.
I think we were all surprised. I know I was when he did strike out and didn't at least make contact. There's a throw over to first, and Rollins is back without a tag. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Swing and a miss, and Utley is struck out. 2 outs here in the first. Now to bring Ryan Howard to the plate. Let's check in with Murph. Murph?
All right, guys. Well, you started off the broadcast talking about it. The last 6 games being outscored by 20 runs. It certainly has been tough sledding for the Phils. And last night's 5-0 loss was their 11th shutout of the season. And that is creeping in on a little piece of history that this team wants no parts of. Take a look at that. Most games shut out before the All-Star break. 2014-11. Just 2 teams in the Phillies' history have been shut out more times before the All-Star break. You see, you have to go back to 1969. Is the last time that happened. So it's something that, they have a few more games before the All-Star break. And Ryan Sandberg, as you mentioned, Tom, talked about today. Today's the day that they have to turn it around. Now, he's been saying that, but he talked to a couple of guys individually, and he said, be the guy that can make a difference, be the guy that can turn this thing around and start pushing us in the right direction so they can finish strong before the All-Star break instead of the other way around.
Yeah, the shutout conversation got us thinking about the numbers that Murph just put up. The 14 being the record in Phillies history. But what was the Major League record? Well, the Major League record is 18. The San Diego Padres back in 1969, which was their first year of existence, they were shut out 18 times before the All-Star break. The Phillies aren't in that neighborhood yet, but they're hovering toward the zip code. Back in 55, the Washington Senators were shut out 16 times. Pittsburgh in 54, 16 times. The Colt 45s in 63, 16 times. And the San Diego Padres in 2011 were shut out 15 times before the All-Star break. And here's those numbers we're talking about. You don't want to put yourself in that category, Jamie, although 11 is a lot.
It is a lot. And you're right, Tom. You do not want to be in that category.
Because somewhere down the road, Murph will do a report on you if you get into that area. Howard takes 3-0. It's 3-1. And as far as the meeting goes, Murph talked about the individual conversations we alluded to earlier. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. I mean, Jamie, you played the game. Every manager's different. And I think Ryan Sandberg's tried the team meetings. He's tried that a couple of times. Charlie Manuel used to talk about the individual conversations he had with players from time to time, how that seemed to help. You never know what's right and what's wrong when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you got to do what you think is right. I like the idea of talking to guys individually, but I also like the idea of including everybody in a meeting, because you are counting on 25 guys. And, maybe there are certain things you're looking out of it, certain individual players, but as a group as a whole, they need to do this together as a team. and it needs to be inclusive.
Rollins will go. The pitch is hit foul again by Howard. And we'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Rollins is certainly getting his sprints in here. Howard with 14 home runs and 51 runs batted in. We mentioned that during this 6-game losing streak, and he's not alone, and neither is Chase Utley, but neither one has an extra base hit. Down the left field line, slicing away from Yelich over toward foul territory, and he's not going to get it. I think he sensed the wall was coming into his area. Saw last time we were here, he had the same issue on a play that was closer to the line than this one.
Yeah, guys, you really don't want to run into that wall. You know, there is padding there, but you see right behind that padding, there's a lot of cement.
Well, Howard gets an additional chance here. This will be the 23rd pitch of the first inning. Rollins goes again. Again, it's hit out toward left. This is a much easier play for Yelich. And the Phillies are retired here in the first inning. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left. We've played a half. We go to the bottom of the first inning. It's the Phillies 0, and the Marlins coming up to face Kyle Kendrick. Four straight, the Phillies coming in. Let's take a look at his starting lineup for Game 3. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Yelich, Lucas, and Stanton, followed by Casey McGee, Garrett Jones, and Jared Saltalamacchia. Marcell Ozuna bats 7th. Donovan Solano hits 8th. And batting 9th and pitching is Brad Hands. And they will face right-hander Kyle Kendrick. Kendrick 3-8, an earned run average of 4.22. He has 12 wins lifetime against the Marlins. His 2 starts this year, though, have not gone particularly well. And so far, the opposition's hitting .271 at our Budweiser scouting report. Jamie, his numbers on the road are kind of the same as his numbers at home.
Yeah, Kyle's going to show you an upper 80s fastball with a cutter, in the upper 80s as well. Curveball, occasional curveball at 77, and a changeup that he's going to rely on a lot. I think his changeup and his cutter are going to be his money pitches.
Yelich takes just below the knees. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Yelich in the series 3 for 13, a .231 average. But over his last 8 games, you see what he's done. He has 5 runs batted in those 8 games.
And Kyle with a 1-4 record on the road is a little bit of a stickler with a 4.80 ERA. I'm sure Kyle's looking to reconcile that a little bit here tonight.
Well, I think he's looking to reconcile those numbers too right there, his numbers in the first inning. This will certainly help as Yelich is retired by Chase Utley. Oh, we'll take a look at our current conditions. 88 degrees. The roof is closed. They're brought to you by Oliver Heating and Cooling. Visit oliverheatcool.com for more information. Very humid outside today. If anybody was wandering around the South Florida area, they know that. Ed Lucas is the batter. They don't have the hurricane to worry about here anymore. Hurricane has made landfall in North Carolina and is heading up the coast. 0-1 pitch to Lucas. Ground ball again to Oakland. 2 quick outs, 6 pitches. And now Giancarlo Stanton is the batter.
I think Kyle just needs to continue his approach right here. Regardless if it's Giancarlo Stanton or not, continue your approach. Don't start to nibble.
I think this entire series, and it's understandable. It certainly is understandable. But I think this entire series, the pitchers have nibbled against Stanton.
Give him too much credit. You know, he's hitting .313. He's hitting for a great average, but what's that? 67% of the time he's making an out. Force him to make the out.
1 ball and 1 strike. He threw him a changeup. There's every reason to respect Giancarlo Stanton the year he's having. 21 home runs, 61 RBIs. He's probably going to be in the MVP conversation at the end of this year if he maintains these numbers.
And he has to stay healthy. That's one thing he hasn't been able to do, is stay healthy.
That one sent out to shortstop. Rollins gobbles it up, and 3 straight ground ball outs for Kyle Kendrick, and the side is retired in order. Nice start for the Phillies right-hander. We'll go to the second. Marlon Byrd is due to lead things off for the Phils. To wrap up the last weekend before the All-Star break by taking on the Washington Nationals. 3-game series on Saturday, a 7:15 start. It's SEPTA Fanatic Beach Towel, free to fans 14 and under. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Marlon Byrd is the batter. He takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, for watching that first inning, hand threw 22 pitches, 20 fastballs. So I got to believe if I'm going up in the second inning, I'm going to sit on a fastball and I'm going to make him beat me with something else.
Now they know the game plan going in, but there's probably some conversation going on in the dugout about that.
Yep.
If you're the hitters,
I got to believe so. You got to you alter your plan or stay with your plan as the game goes on. Well, there's a changeup. Okay, great. Now he's thrown 2 changeups. 1 curveball. Both the changeups are for strikes. So you guys have to at least respect that he can throw the changeup for a strike. The other thing I saw with the man on first base, when he goes to first base, he looks home and goes to first base.
so there's a pattern there.
Yep. see if he maintains it. Now, when he was 3-0, 3-1, he just looked at home plate and went to the plate.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bird. Bird 16 homers, 49 runs batted in, and he whacks a fastball foul.
That's the best fastball we've seen from Hand all night right there. 95-mile-an-hour fastball elevated to Marlon Bird.
Well, and he probably has seen the last 2 games to see that Marlon has chased that high fastball. Third ball, and it's in there for a strike. That's the second strikeout for Brad Hands.
Okay, here you see a curveball. All right, now he's proven he can throw his curveball over for a strike. Has he done it consistently? No, but at least you know that he has the ability to use it with 2 strikes.
Now Cesar Hernandez, who's making the start over at third base tonight. Cody Ashley's been struggling lately. The first pitch is outside. It's 1-0. And there is a lefty on the mound, so they figure they go with Hernandez. Foul tip, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a high fastball. Cody's had games where he's looked very comfortable, but over the last week or so, there's been other games where he has struggled at the plate. His defense, I think, has been very good. Cesar, with his average at 341 over the last 23 games, has raised it to 247. Two is fouled over the screen, and Hernandez stays alive. Another foul ball, another fastball. Kind of in that same area, a little up. It's not belt high, it's just a little above the belt. The fastball.
That's a hard ball to get on top of, especially for guys like Cesar Hernandez. It's not that he can't hit that fastball, but it's just at the top of his strike zone with a little hair on it.
Off the end of the bat, it's flared out to right center field. Stanton's coming on. He won't get it. He barehands it on 1 hop. And it's a 1-out single. First hit of the night for the Phillies. And that'll bring Aaron Altair to the plate, making his first major league start. And Murph just chatting with him for a few moments before the ball game. He seems to be very excited about the opportunity overall, but to make his first major league start is pretty special.
Yeah, to say he's excited is probably an understatement. He was the first guy out of the clubhouse before warmups today at about 4:30, and then the first guy back out of the clubhouse at about 6:30 before this game got started. And he said he was happy that he was able to get his first major league at bat out of the way, which he got in Atlanta about a week and a half ago in the 1 game that he got in. But he said, I'm going to have some butterflies tonight, and I'm also looking forward to getting that fly ball out of the way, that first fly ball out of the way. He plays all 3 outfield positions. He says center field is what he prefers, but he thinks he can play them all. And again, just very excited about getting a chance to have this opportunity in front of him tonight.
Yeah, he battled a wrist injury prior to the season, so when he was in spring training, we saw him walking around, but he didn't really play too much. And then from a distance, we watched him sort of evolve in Reading. He had a pretty good month. Over the last 30 days, his numbers have been pretty good. Overall, hitting .241 with 6 home runs in Reading and 30 runs batted in. Mentioned the last time he was with the Phillies were in Atlanta, and the scout who scouted him, and Kenny Giles was there. Phillies thought it would be cool to bring him up to give him a chance to watch Altair and watch Kenny Giles. Three balls and one strike with Hernandez over at first. Chopper toward the hole, backhanded by Lucas, throws to second in time. Cesar thinks he beat that one. He's going to hang on the second base bag. Ryan Sandberg is going to come up the stairs and take a slow walk out to Chris Guccione at second base. Cesar had a slide after that one, but I think the slide sort of slowed him up and gave Lucas a chance to get him at second base. Let's watch the replay. This is the slow-mo. His foot kind of got stuck as he slid. I think he's out. Jamie, what do you think? I
agree.
Foot went over the bag.
Yeah, he didn't get to the bag. It looked like he went around the bag to get there. And you're right, Tom. I think his foot did get stuck initially when he started to slide.
Well, Larry Boa has signaled to Ryan Sandberg that he was indeed out, so there won't be a challenge. So fielder's choice for Altair. I don't know if Rhino's telling him what we saw, but that's was very noticeable, is that his foot probably was there before the throw, but it went up above the bag and didn't land on top of it. 1 ball, no strikes to Cameron Rupp with a runner at first. Looked home.
Threw to first. Yeah. The other thing I noticed too, he comes up every pitch, wind up in the stretch with the change-up grip. So the time it takes to change that grip, maybe a little quicker when he throws a changeup.
Out of play. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's thrown 43 pitches, 38 fastballs.
I guess that's designed by Jared Saltalamacchia and Mike Redmond and Chuck Hernandez. Or does that give you an indication that as a team the Phillies might be struggling a little bit with the fastball?
Well, it seems like not only this whole series, but the Atlanta series and previous series before that, a lot of teams through the lineup the first time are throwing a lot of fastballs.
1-2 pitch to Rupp, and he fouls it back to the right and out of play.
My thought is, you want to gear up for the fastball. None of these pitches are easy to hit, but the fastball is the easiest pitch to hit.
If you're ready for it.
And get yourself ready for it. Take a good pass at it.
Out toward right center field and playable for Stanton. It's not that deep, but he makes the catch. Now the Phillies are retired here in the second. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Middle of the second. It's the Phillies nothing and the Marlins nothing. The 2014 MLB All-Stars. You can help send your favorite Philly to the All-Star game like Chase Utley by voting up to 35 times at Phillies.com. Vote exclusively at Phillies.com or on your mobile phone. Voting ends Thursday, July 3rd. That's today at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Chase is leading the second baseman in voting by a pretty wide margin. Time now for our Geico quote of the day, and it comes from Casey McGee on his season. It's a half season. I've seen how quick things can change. At the end of the year, look back and give yourself a couple of days to reflect on it. But at this point, there's nothing to be proud of. You start patting yourself on the back. This game has a nasty way of reminding you you're not bigger than the game. It'll hunt you down. Now that is a fairly profound last part of the quote. It'll hunt you down.
It will. It will. When you think you're above this game, something will come up and humble you rather quickly.
Casey McGee has 100 hits at game number 84 for the Marlins. He's the 13th Marlin in the history of this franchise. Now, it's not a vast history, but it's getting there. 13th Marlin to have 100 hits at this juncture of the season. Got him with a changeup. First strikeout for Kendrick. 4 up, 4 down. And 1 out here at the bottom of the second.
Look at the location of the pitches that Kyle's been making here. The first inning and a third. Pretty much everything's been down. He's got a nice tempo. Ball drops out of the bottom of the zone. And here's how and where Kyle needs to pitch. And this is how he's going to be effective.
That'll bring Garrett Jones to the plate. And it's inside, 1 ball and no strikes. You know, it's interesting thinking back to that quote that McGee threw out there. I mean, it's as good a quote as you're going to hear about this game. You know, about how it does humble you, and has humbled him obviously, as Jones slams that one to left field. Altair very athletically makes the catch, and there are 2 outs. But this game will humble you. And I don't know if he always felt it, but I would think the last couple of years is a pretty good indication to him how humbling it could be after spending a year that he's grateful for, by the way, a year in Japan and away from Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and they play the game a little differently, and I guarantee you he's become a better hitter by having that opportunity to play in Japan, because it's a totally different style game of baseball, and they hit behind runners a lot over there.
Here's Saltalamacchia.
In Japan, they don't live and die with the home run like we do here in the United States.
Is there ever a point where you considered going to Japan to play?
Yeah. For many years, or not many years, there was a portion of my career where I was bouncing back and forth in the minor leagues. I sent videotapes over to Japan, to almost every club over there. Got no response though. But funny, a couple years later, I had my little resurgence in Major League Baseball and was invited to be on an all-star team that went to Japan and played. And I brought that situation up, and it was quite interesting how the Japanese media responded to it.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Saltalamacchia. Popped him up. Third base side. Hernandez over toward the wall, and he's out of room, which gives us a moment to find out what was their response.
Well, they were actually quite interested if anybody responded back to me like you had asked, and I responded by saying no, and then I think they were rather surprised.
Were they critical of the?
Well, it really didn't go beyond that, because that's.
Come on, Jamie, stir it up. Stir it up in Japan.
I was happy where I was at that point.
Swing and a miss and a change up. Saltalamacchia is down on strikes. That's 2 strikeouts for Kyle Kendrick. He has faced 6. He's retired all 6. We'll go to the third in a scoreless game between the Phils and the Marlins. Next up, the fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Jamie, the question is, which pitcher holds the Marlins single-season strikeout record with 209? Which pitcher holds the Marlins single-season strikeout record with 209? Answer will be revealed in just a little bit. Got an old-school Eagles hat there, Jamie. Kyle Kendrick will lead it off. And Kendrick takes a strike. It's 0-1. Kyle is 2 for 31 on the year, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Foul ball. Swing and a miss, and Kendrick is struck out. That's 3 for Hand. And 1 out for Ben Revere. Did you have a separate bat company than glove company as a pitcher?
I did. Not that I really had a bat company.
No, I asked because Kyle's using a different bat than the glove that he wears.
I used a Wilson glove.
Okay.
Pretty much my whole career. At one point I used Mizuno for a little bit. I wore Nike cleats for the most part. And the bat company, Louisville Slugger early on, and then Matt Stairs turned me on to the company B45.
Oh, B45, okay. I wondered about that because Kendrick is using, I think it's a Louisville Slugger glove, Nike batting gloves, and then he has a Marucci bat.
Now, there aren't too many pitchers that sign bat contracts.
Well, that's where I was going.
Or batting glove contracts.
So you just take the extras, or they just
No,
pass
you
them
can borrow them from guys. As far as bats go, you know, the Phillies were, I know when I played here, were very gracious about getting you bats that you wanted,
right,
you know, from the company that you wanted. They were very amicable about handling that for you.
2-1 pitch to Revere, and he hits that one towards short, backhanded, sharp by Lucas. Comcast Sportsnet would like to invite you to the We Live Phillies Sports Festival at the Please Touch Museum on Saturday, July 19th from 9 a.m. until noon. Play games and win prizes. Plus, meet the Fanatics, Swoop, Danny Pomels, Ricky Pitalico, Leslie Goodell, and Mark Zumoff at the Phillies Sports Parade at noon. Rollins takes low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Rollins walked his first time up. And it's outside 2. And I know we talk about bats and gloves and batting gloves. The players don't generally pay for those.
No, they don't. And if you go back in the back room, that room's full of bats. You can't find a bat, something's wrong. Usually you can borrow them from guys as well. But I will say, the position hitters are very particular if you're asking them for a bat.
Oh, really?
They usually aren't going to give you up what they call their gamers.
Ooh. Up high, 3-1.
And the position players, you know, when they get an order of bats, they go through their bats and they look at them with a fine-tooth comb, and they find the ones that they like, and they guard those with their lives.
Well, I know when Tony Sr. passed away a few weeks ago, there were great stories about the bats that he used. In fact, there was one that he used for 1 full year. It was the same bat, and he was very particular about who handled it, where it went, how it traveled.
I find that remarkable that he used one bat the whole year.
There's a line drive single to left for Jimmy Rollins.
Obviously, he used other bats for batting practice. He just used that bat in the game.
Correct.
Just to clarify that. Well, I do know when I played in Seattle, Ichiro Suzuki had a travel humidor that he put his bats in.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. So he put his bats and your cigars all in that humidor. There's Utley, who struck out his first time up. To Chase, who's now 0 for his last 10. Chase's average has dropped to 287.
Not once yet has Brad Cy Hand thrown a back-to-back off-speed pitches.
That one is lifted out toward left. It'll be an easy play for Yelich. Tells everybody that he's got it, and the side is retired. Well, Brad Hand has kept the Phils off balance. They do have a couple hits. There was one walk, but that's it as we go to the bottom of the third. University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEF now for an appointment. Buy the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. And buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. Bottom of the third, 4th of July weekend is upon us. Tomorrow the Phillies will celebrate the 4th of July in Pittsburgh. It is a 5:05 start. There are fireworks all throughout the weekends along the banks of the Allegheny. Hope everybody has a safe and enjoyable 4th of July wherever it is you're celebrating. Marcell Ozuna will lead it off here in the third for the Marlins. And he hits the first pitch out toward right center field. Long run for Marlon Byrd out toward the track. It's over his head. A one-hop off the wall. Ozuna's on his way to second. He'll stop there. And it's the first hit of the night for the Marlins. A leadoff double here in the third, his 10th of the season.
Got a very active hitter in Marcell Ozuna early in the count, and he gets a fastball. It's a pretty good pitch out over the plate, but it was down. He just stays with it, drives it through the gap in right center field.
Well, last night the Marlins had the leadoff batter aboard 4 times. They scored 3 of those 4 times. Phillies had the leadoff batter aboard 3 times, but did not score at all. Here's Donovan Solano, who drove in the first run last night for the Marlins. Fastball, and it's 0-1.
If you think about when the Phillies had that little mini winning streak, many of those games they scored runs early in the game. And in some of those games they were able to add on. Since they've been struggling, they really have struggled scoring runs early in the game.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, there's an astronomical stat that the Phillies have been without a run for the first 5 innings. Almost a little more than 24 times here in 2014. As that is a foul up to the right, not a play. Nice catch by that gentleman. Thank goodness he caught it, because his wife had the baby right in her lap.
Now it's right in the baby's mouth.
Why wouldn't it be?
Surprise, surprise.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Solano. Ground ball to shortstop. Ozuna's going to go over the third. Well, he got a great jump. You don't normally do that if the ball is, I guess it was kind of hit right at him, so he could make that decision. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. Ozuna joking around with Jimmy Rollins. I think Jimmy thought for a moment that he could throw to third to get him, but got to give Ozuna credit. He made that split-second decision, and he's got good speed, and he was aggressive when he went over to third. So now the infield is in for Hand, the pitcher, and he bunts toward first. Safety squeeze. Kendrick will flip home. They won't get him, and everybody's safe. 1-0 Miami. Well, that's a situation where the Phillies aren't scoring runs, and Kendrick thought, well, I don't want to get down 1-0 here. I'm going to try to take a chance to get the out at home.
And you try to take that chance, or you take the chance of getting the out at home. He is safe. Now you got the pitcher on first with the top of the order up. Very good bunt, and he forces Kyle to come in, but go to his left. He gets around the ball, can't get a whole lot on the ball, and Cameron Rupp doesn't even make a tag. But you didn't even get an out there, so you'd think if you go to first base and you give up the run, the Phillies are not scoring a lot of runs right now, but he executed a very good bunt. Get the out and face the top of the order with 2 outs.
Yeah, they scored a sacrifice and an RBI. Fielder's choice. 1 ball, no strikes to Yelich, and he takes low. 2-0. Do you agree, though, that there's something to that, not wanting the other team to take the lead because offense has been so problematic?
I get it, but again, you got to do the thing.
No, I agree.
Thing on the defensive side. You can't worry about the offensive side.
There's the 2-0 pitch coming to Yelich. On the outside corner, 2-1.
Credit Hand laying down a great bunt. And it's not like he hit it.
No, he squared pretty early. A line drive base hit to center field. First and second with 1 out. Now top of the hour, 7 p.m. Eastern time, along with Jamie Moyer and Greg Murphy. If you're just flipping your television on, we did start at 6:10 tonight because the Marlins are heading out of town to go to St. Louis. The Phillies are going to Pittsburgh. Marlins will play a 6:15 local time game tomorrow in St. Louis. The Phillies have a 5:05 Eastern time game in Pittsburgh. And the Marlins have taken the lead here in the bottom of the third on a bunt by Brad Hand. And now with runners on first and second, here's Ed Lucas. Lucas pulls it foul.
And going back to that bunt play, I don't know if the Phillies had a play on. It looked like Kyle had the left side of the infield on the bunt. Ryan Howard wasn't charging really hard. That's the other potential play. If Ryan's coming hard, he can make that play. But it didn't look like that was the case.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, Kyle didn't have a whole lot on that flip throw.
He was kind of going away from the play.
Yeah. Yeah, the key would have been to just get the out at first.
The only other option is scoop it with your glove and try to shovel it, but it probably wouldn't have gotten. He was too far to shovel that with his glove. So again, like you say, you credit him for laying down a good bunt, get the for sure out of first base.
One ball and 2 strikes to Lucas.
And if you do that, now you're facing potentially a situation where you've got 2 outs and a man on first base instead of 1 out and a man on first and second base facing the top of the order.
I don't know, there are those that would probably say, well, if he got him, it would have been a good play, and that is true, but it was happening. It took too long for him to get the out at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ed Lucas.
Back to that spring training saying, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, right?
Swing and a miss, 2 outs. Third strikeout for Kendrick, and that'll bring Giancarlo Stanton to the plate. 1-0 Marlins. They scored a run here in the 3rd. And it's time now for our Mazda leaders, and Stanton with 44 of his 61 RBIs here at home. Why are they so successful here? Because Stanton, Ozuna, and Casey McGee have 124 runs batted in here at Marlins Park.
First curveball by Kyle Kendrick tonight. Good situation to throw it in right there. Good location. Not sure if Giancarlo's swinging first pitch.
One ball and 1 strike. And now 1 and 2.
Good changeup right there.
Yeah, he's thrown 3 different pitches to him in this at bat.
Oh, and he struck Lucas out on a very good cutter, really tight, ran off the plate. You can see Lucas in that at bat. Yeah, look at Brett Butler right here. Here's the third base coach.
I couldn't find him. I didn't know where he was. Chopper to short. And Rollins will throw across the diamond. The inning is over. But the Marlins do strike first. They get a run on 2 base hits. Brad Hand, the opposing pitcher, has the RBI. And now as we go to the 4th, 4, 5, and 6 will be up for the Phillies. What a bargain for amazingly low prices on new and slightly used office furniture, equipment, and supplies. You'll be the office MVP. Visit whatabargain.com. Top of the fourth inning. He'll grow into that hat eventually. Doesn't matter though. He'll still enjoy wearing it.
You know, I don't want to belabor this, but another thought in that bunting situation with Hand.
Right.
You know, Kyle could have started with a breaking ball or a cutter down an end or an elevated fastball, just to make it a little more difficult instead of just throwing him fastball that he could handle down the middle and lay down a bunt.
All right, but would you have expected him to bunt in that spot? In all seriousness?
He squared around fairly early. You know, my thought is probably not, but you got a young kid that doesn't have a lot of experience at the plate. Let's see if he can get a bunt down.
But if you're Kyle, throw him a curveball because he's got very little experience.
Or a changeup, make him reach to something, make him react to something instead of just it's a fastball right down the middle. That's the easiest pitch to bunt. It's almost like you're giving it to him.
Phillies will try to get it back here. Ryan Howard will lead it off. He takes a breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
Okay, we'll see what he backs it up with here. Again, he has not backed up an off-speed pitch or a breaking pitch with another one. It's like a fastball.
Out toward left field. That's hit well. Yelich on the run. He's got a lot of room to roam. I know he missed that one ball before in foul territory, and we saw him miss one earlier this season here at Marlins Park. He gets excellent jumps out in left field. I don't know if you agree with that or not, Jamie, but just watching him in the short period of time we've seen him in the big leagues, he gets excellent jumps.
He does get a good jump, and you're right, Tom. If you look at that area that he's in, he has to cover a lot of area, especially with a left-handed hitter up. You know, they're playing him to pull Ryan Howard. They're playing him to pull. Right now they're shading Marlin to right center field. So you look at that space between he and the center fielder, and then the space between he and the foul line. That's a lot of acreage. Here you can see from here, he's got all that space over to here to cover, and it is a lot of area. And you're right, Tom. He gets a heck of a jump on balls.
0-2 to Bird. Bird struck out looking his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Marlins had a solid year for the Phillies. 266, 14 home runs, or 16 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Waiting for the 0-2 pitch. And a foul tip. He has struck out twice tonight, 2 away, 4 strikeouts for Hands. And that'll bring Cesar Hernandez to the plate. On Monday, July 21st, the Phillies will welcome in the San Francisco Giants for a 4-game series. 3 night games, and then it wraps up on Thursday the 24th with a Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Modell's Kids Run the Bases following the game. You can order your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Breaking ball to Cesar Hernandez. It's 0-1. He singled his only time up.
You can see Hand gaining confidence in his pitches as he's cutting through the Phillies tonight. He's only going to get better unless they can give him something to think about.
Well, he's only 24 years old, and he's not only going to get better in tonight's ball game unless they make him think a little bit. He's also going to get better as the years go on, you would think. He just retired the Phils in order for the first time tonight, 4 in a row. Retired by Mr. Hand. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th with the Marlins up 1-0. Delaware Valley Honda. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shophonda.com. By McDonald's, any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Bottom of the fourth, it's 1-0 Marlins on top. Not a whole lot of offense for the Phillies fans to enjoy so far. It's an indication of merchandise sales. You have 5 different shirts there, including the youngster. We're in the home jersey. Casey McGee takes low. 1 ball, no strikes. McGee struck out his first time up. And it's one ball, 1 strike.
Tell you what, I really like Kyle's effort tonight. He's got a really nice tempo going. He's really located the ball down. He's throwing the ball very well tonight.
Yeah, his command is good. You know, that pitch obviously sailed inside, but his command of these pitches is good.
Yeah, and he's not showing any signs of any urgency or any timidness. Here it is. Hit it if you can.
Back to the box, and Kendrick will take care of Casey McGee. And 1 away for Garrett Jones. Let's check in with Murph. Murph, what's going on, buddy?
Well, Tom, it is time for the timeless moment brought to you by Coors Banquet. And on this date, July 3rd, 1917, right-hander Grover Cleveland Alexander pitched a 5-0 and 9-3 complete game wins in a doubleheader at Brooklyn, and he walked only 1 batter that day. That goes in the file of things you will never, ever see again. A doubleheader, 2 complete games in 1 day for Grover Cleveland Alexander.
Ever pitched 2 games in 1 day, Jamie? I know you probably pitched innings, let's say in Legion or high school, 2 games in 1 day.
Yeah, I pitched in games in college, 2 in 1 day.
But never 2 games. Like 2 full
separate games?
Yeah, 2 full games.
Oh, complete games? No.
Murph, how about you?
Often. Yeah. Those wiffle ball games can last all day long, Tom.
Was used a number of times in the college doubleheaders at St. Joe with a finish 1 game and then start the 2nd game.
So pitch the last couple of innings of game 1.
Correct.
Two 2-0 to Garrett Jones, just off the outside corner.
And probably why can't people do that anymore? Because nobody tries it. It's the only answer I have.
I guess it would depend on how many pitches you threw.
Really?
3 balls and 1 strike. We would never, ever, ever, ever see somebody throw 2 games in 1 day.
Yeah, that is true. That won't happen.
Cutter inside corner, I should say, 3-2.
I think a lot of it's about desire and will. Sometimes you got to will your way through things.
Yeah, the game would just never allow it. I mean, you may see it in high school or Legion. I think you'd probably see what you said more than anything else. Guys finishing 1 game and then starting another. High fly ball to right center, playable for Bird. And there are 2 outs. I remember the great Al Downing in Trenton pitched, I think it was a Babe Ruth game. 2 Babe Ruth games in 1 day. And that was remarkable in its own right. It might have been a Legion game. I might be getting the story off. But either way, you know, Al pitched in the big leagues in the 60s and the 70s. So that was even before that. You just wouldn't see it 80s beyond.
Oh, and in today's world, if you were a coach and you did that to a kid, you know, you'd probably lose your job.
Well, that's true. Here's Saltalamacchia with 2 outs. Ground ball foul past Perry Hill.
Yeah, and careers are probably a little bit shorter.
because of that, but it was about playing the game. That's really what it was about, playing the game of baseball and make the best of it while you have the opportunity.
Another good cutter, and it's 0-2. Toyota Major League scoreboard. The Giants lost to the Cardinals today 7-2. Johnny Peralta had 2 RBIs for the Cards. A little low, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup for the 2nd time tonight. 5 strikeouts, make it 4, I should say, for Kyle Kendrick, and the side is retired in order. To the 5th we go, with the Phillies trailing at 1-0 to Brad Hand. Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Jamie, here's the question. Which pitcher holds the Marlins single season strikeout record with 209?
I'm going to go with Ryan Dempster.
Ryan Dempster is correct. Back in 2000. Thought there was a chance you would go Dontrelle Willis.
That was my initial thought.
Yeah, but it is Ryan Dempster, who was a strikeout pitcher for a good part of his career. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Here's Altair looking for his first major league hit. He reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. Out toward right field. That's well hit. Stanton going back toward the track to the wall, and he'll make the catch 3 steps from the wall. Pretty nice swing. 1 out here in the 5th.
How nice would it be to get your first major league hit off of a guy pitching like Cy Young is tonight?
It may cause Cy Young to not be Cy Young if he gave up a run or 2.
Good swing, head down on the ball. Got through that ball pretty well. Hit it pretty high, but the ball traveled quite far. This is a big ballpark.
Yeah, that's out at home. Here's Cameron Rupp. In fact, it would be out tomorrow in Pittsburgh. Even with the 21-foot wall out in right field, I think that still would have gone out. One ball, 1 strike. You know, the other guy who could have been the strikeout leader in the season was Brad Penny for the Marlins. And apparently the Marlins are helping Brad Penny make a comeback. He's throwing 95, they say. Pitched last night for the Marlins in the farm system. Two balls and two strikes. Over toward third, a foul ball. Pitches and he hasn't allowed a run. In fact, he's only allowed 2 hits.
There haven't been too many hard hit balls either.
The Altair one and the Rollins single. That's probably it, right? Swing and a miss. 2 outs. 5 strikeouts for Brad Hand. Well, it's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
Okay, Kyle, tie it up. Put a wall scraper right down the left field line.
Yeah, it's only 344. Pretty athletic guy, strong. He's due. He's only 2 for 32 this year. And a line drive base hit. All right, you'll take that.
I sure will.
2 out single, only the 3rd hit for the Phils. They'll turn the lineup over and bring Ben Revere to the plate.
And Ben needs to pick another guy to hit it to. 2 balls fairly sharp. Right toward Ed Lucas at shortstop.
He lined out his first time up and then hit a 1-hopper his last time that Lucas was able to pick. Revere's hit in 7 consecutive ball games. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
Like we had the best crowd of the 3-game series here.
Yeah, they were very quiet early on, but there are fireworks after the game, Jamie. Fireworks are a draw. But they were quiet. Soft ground ball to second. Solano bare hands and then drops it. They're going to score that a base hit, so that'll put runners on first and second with 2 men down.
See what happens when you pick a different guy?
That's what happens too when you have speed, because you put pressure on the defender to barehand it instead of gloving it and throwing. So Solano tried to make a spectacular play to get Revere. Instead, it's first and second. The Phillies, for the first time tonight, have 2 runners on at the same time. It's only the second base runner in the last 13 innings that the Phillies have had reach second base in the last, as we said, last 13 innings. Tony Gwynn Jr. did it last night in the 6th after he walked. 1-0, lifted to right center field. Marcell Ozuna into the alley, will settle under it, make the catch. Side is retired, and for the 24th time this year, 24 times in 85 games, the Phillies have gone the first 5 innings of a ball game without scoring a run. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Citizenship, brought to you by Citizens Bank. Although Philadelphia has the largest urban park system in the entire nation, you can never have enough green. Get involved by planting trees, picking up trash, or volunteering at your favorite park. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank. Good banking is good citizenship. Bottom of the 5th inning, it'll be Ozuna, Solano, and Brad Hand. Marlins lead the Phillies 1-0.
With that scoreless inning there by the Phillies, that takes them to 17 scoreless innings in a row.
Something's got to give as far as the offense goes. I don't know what it is, but something's got to give. Well, that's taken your love of the Fanatic to a different level right there. The hat, the glasses. I mean, you got two noses going on there. There's Marcell Ozuna.
Maybe she smells some hits.
Gosh, I hope so. First pitch is on the inside corner. And then we go back to the other storyline, which is Kendrick tonight, who's only allowed the 2 hits, one to Ozuna, the double. He's had a good live sinker tonight, good live 2-seamer, thrown some 4-seamers as well. Change-ups low. Cole Hamels went 5 innings last night. 3 strikeouts, 4 walks.
Very non-typical game for Cole.
Back toward the middle, another base hit for Ozuna. Yeah, not a typical game for Cole, who did say afterward that his plans are to stay in Philadelphia even with all the struggles the Phillies have had. And he did admit, and Ryan Sandberg did too, that first inning when the Phillies didn't score did adversely affect him. It was more Sandberg than Cole that said it. Rhino said that, you know, he thought more than anything that it affected him that the Phillies didn't score in that first.
Well, you got to learn to take that out of play. You can't let that side of the game affect what you're doing out on the field. And it was evident as he went through the first couple innings of the game that it did affect him.
And the command of the fastball just wasn't there those first few innings. In fact, it probably wasn't there for the first time in a while on a consistent basis.
Oh, he really struggled with the ball in to right-handed hitters. His cutter looked like it was a little slurvy. It didn't have the bite that it normally had. He threw a lot of good change-ups, but he was forced to throw a lot of pitches and labor early in the game.
The throw over, Ozuna's back. On the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Line drive, base hit it to center field. Ozuna's on his way to third. Revere's throw is nowhere near in time. Phillies are fortunate that Solano did not go to second. First and third with nobody out. And Brad Hand will be the batter.
See a good fastball down, and Donovan Solano did a nice job just staying inside that ball and hitting it hard back through the middle. I got to believe they're going to bunt here. How are they going to think about a situation to how to defend it?
see Ozuna got a good jump off of first base and easily made it into third base.
Now, when you talk about defending this bunt, you not only have to think about how you're going to defend it with Solano at first, but you've got Ozuna over third too. And it worked the last time when he bunted it in a perfect spot that he crossed the plate.
Well, here again, you're not sure that he's going to bunt, so let's start him off with a breaking ball. That's, you know, don't allow him just to lay down a bunt on a fastball down the middle. Make him work for it. He gets squares it around early enough, just lays it out there. Like I said, it's a tough place for Kyle to have to go. So, again, I've said it probably 4 times already, but I'm going to say it again. A very well executed bunt.
Yeah.
And we don't really know how he handles the bat as far as swinging the bat. Say he squares around early, the corners crash, he pulls back and does a butcher boy and puts the ball in play. I mean, you just don't know.
Well, the corners are creeping in a little bit. He squares, he bunts it, same spot. Runner doesn't come from third. The play is at first. Sacrifice is successful. I shouldn't say it's the same spot. It wasn't as far down the line, but it was still a good sacrifice. Second and third with 1 man down.
Well, just throw a fastball down the middle and let him get it down. I'm not sure about that. Squares around early, throw him a fastball. He does his job right there. Make him work a little bit. Throw him a breaking ball. Not sure I understand.
Yeah, there are probably times where you can groove one.
I don't want to groove anything. I want to make him work for it. Kyle's got great command of all of his pitches tonight.
Field in, past Utley, a base hit. 1 run is in. Rounding third, held at third is Solano. RBI single, 2-0. Marlins on top. Yelich is 2 for 3.
Let me paint a picture. Say he can't get the bunt down there and still first and third. Infield's back.
Double play.
That's a ground ball.
Yeah.
Double play. Out of the inning.
No, I get you. And I think what you're saying is kind of interesting for folks to realize, because sometimes, you know, you think, you just assume that it's going to be laid in there for a guy to bunt, that there's no extra work involved for a pitcher in that situation. But it makes sense if you have command that you can do that, that you're not worried about walking him or, you know.
I've been out here for 3 days. For the most part, anytime you're practicing bunting, you're seeing fastballs. Unless you're in the cage practicing a curveball or a slider, you're not seeing it. So you have to adjust to it.
Outside, 1-0. Foul tip, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. I think the other thing you just saw, just as we said in the first inning, or the first time when the Marlins scored, was that the Phillies had the infield in on that particular play, with runners on second and third. Sometimes, and we've seen this time and time again, where they'd have the infield, let's say, halfway back or back. And Utley was, I guess, more halfway in than anything, but still.
Yeah, but if he's back in his normal position,
he's got it.
With the first and third, the pitcher not being able to get the bunt down. Like I said, that's a ground ball double play, potential ground ball double play. Can't assume the double play.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Lucas. And he fouls that one at the plate. Do you agree, though, if the Phillies offense was churning a little bit more, then the infield would be all the way back on that? They concede, they let the run score, get the out.
Yeah, that's a strong possibility, Tom. You know, the lack of offense is really forcing Ryan Sandberg to do some things that he normally may not do.
I think. You know, sometimes, you know, managers will still play the infield in on that if they think the matchup is right, where they'll get a guy that's going to hit one right at the infielders. I don't know if Yelich is that guy. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Lucas. Marlins with 3 hits in this inning. Most of their damage has come from the bottom of the order tonight. Good outside, 3-2.
You know, and you're really trying to get Lucas here to put the ball in play. You surely don't want to walk him and face John Carlos Denton with the bases loaded.
Fly ball right side. A few steps onto the outfield grass. Utley makes the catch, and there are 2 outs. Runners remain at first and third, and Stanton is the batter. Kendrick has gotten Stanton to hit one to shortstop twice. Almost looked like the same spot with both pitches. Maybe that one was up just a little bit. 1 ball and 1 strike to Stanton. Marlon Byrd has a long way to come. Utley into foul territory, and it's Howard who makes the catch right on the edge of the wall. And the side is retired. 1 run does score on the RBI single by Christian Yelich. All right, 2, 3, or excuse me, 3, 4, and 5 are due up for the Phillies when we return. Is the 23-year-old right-hander who came firing into the bullpen when he got the call. The 7th-round pick of the 2011 draft enters each game with a high-speed purpose, and is having success since he arrived. With a top speed arm, he has blown hitters away, and his off-speed complement has kept hitters off balance and off his pitches. He is new on the scene, a welcomed addition to the Phillies pen, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Kenny Giles has been very good for the Phils. There's no question about that. Whether he's used tonight or not remains to be seen. The Phillies hope they'll have a lead to set up the back of the bullpen. Utley will lead it off. The Phillies down 2-0. It'll be Utley, Howard, and Marlon Byrd. 3, 4, and 5. I keep saying 2, 3, and 4. I think I keep saying 2, 3, and 4 because we were talking today about how the Phillies could change their lineup up, and in my mind I thought, well, maybe they have Rollins lead off, Utley bat second, Byrd bat third, Howard bat fourth. Maybe that'll get things going. So I keep thinking now that Utley's batting second, Bird's batting third, and Howard's batting fourth. But Ryan Sandberg is keeping his lineup in check with Revere, Rollins, Utley, Howard, and Byrd hitting fifth. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Regardless of what the lineup is, it's quality at bats.
Yeah. And a line drive base hit to center field. So Utley ends an 0 for 11 stretch. A leadoff single here in the top of the 6th inning. On Friday, July 25th, the Phillies start a 3-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. On Saturday, the 26th, this has become a great collectible item, and they've been different every single year. They're different again. It's the W.B. Mason collectible truck. It's free to fans 14 and under. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Howard is 0 for 2, and he lines one into right center field. That's a base hit. Utley around second. He'll hold. Back-to-back singles for the Phils to start the 6th.
Just an FYI, Tom.
Yes, sir.
I have 92 pitches, not 93.
You want us to change that?
13 of the pitches have been off-speed pitches. 79 fastballs.
Now, why isn't he changing that? I guess because he hasn't allowed any runs on
He hasn't been forced to.
Marlins do have bullpen action.
I got to believe the Marlins have to be tickled that he's gotten this far in this game. There's a kid, his 3rd start of the season. Obviously, they like what they see in him and his abilities, but it's pretty impressive. He's been able to cut through the Phillies with 79 fastballs tonight and only 13 off-speed pitches.
Well, they've got Hatcher warming up in the bullpen. They have an extra pitcher in the pen. Marlon Byrd is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. Saltalamacchia just asked him to step off. It seems like Hand wants something else, and Saltalamacchia is thinking on a different page right now. 2 balls, 1 strike to Bird with runners on first and second. Swing and a miss. I don't know what Saltalamacchia was doing there. He kind of reacted as if he dropped the ball or missed the ball.
Well, the way he caught it, kind of caught it with his glove down, kind of pushed it down. That ball was down and in. I'm sure it was a tough pitch to track. I don't think he was expecting it down there.
Leads over at second base, looking at the outfielders, seeing how deep they are. Howard's at first, not being held on. That's Cesar Hernandez on deck.
You kind of know when he's going to throw a changeup because you don't see any hand movement in his glove as he comes up with the changeup grip every time.
And that one's looped out to right field, a base hit. Utley's to third. He'll be held there. Stanton's up with it quickly. And the Phillies have the bases loaded now for Cesar Hernandez. 3 straight singles for the Phillies. It is the first time in this series the Phillies have had 3 straight hits. Chuck Hernandez is taking a look to make sure that Hatcher's ready, and that's going to be it. Mike Redmond's heading out to the mound, so Hand will go 5+ innings tonight. He's allowed 3 hits here in the 6th inning, and overall 7 in the ball game. The 3 runners on base are his responsibility. He struck out 5, and he'll give way to the bullpen here in South Florida. So the Phillies down 2-0 here in the top of the 6th inning. They'll go to the bullpen. The Marlins will, and we'll be back to tell you about the new pitcher right after this. Age 6 to 14. Get professional coaching, skill development from Phillies players, coaches, and baseball academy instructors. There's a camper reunion night at a Phillies game, and there are 15 different locations to choose from. And although some of the weeks have been utilized, there's still many weeks to choose from. Call 610-520-3400 for more information. Brad Hand is done. He's responsible for the 3 base runners the Phillies have put on. And now Chris Hatcher will take over. Hatcher 0-1 with an ERA of 3.54. Marlins have used a lot of guys in this series against the Phillies, and in the last 7 games against the Phillies, including Hatcher. So he'll face Cesar Hernandez with the bases loaded. Marlins will play for 2. First pitch is outside. It's 1-0. Ball and 1 strike.
It's a high changeup right there.
Sure was.
I think that was deserving of being a strike.
Fastball. Oh no. Should change up again. And it's 1-2.
Small strike zone with Cesar. Both of those pitches were very questionable. But call them both a strike.
In the dirt, Saltalamacchia keeps it around the area, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Fastball looks like he just smothers in the ground. And Saltalamacchia makes a great stop there, keeps it somewhat close to him. Doesn't allow any of the runners to advance.
Chopper back towards shortstop. Lucas charges, flips to second for 1. That's all they'll get. A run scores, and it's a 2-1 ball game. The Phillies have finally scored a run here in South Florida. The fielder's choice, an RBI for Hernandez, his 3rd. So the scoreless streak ends at 17 for the Phils. And they have 1st and 3rd for Aaron Altair.
What a great time for Aaron to get a base hit right here.
Base hit, or even his first major league RBI in some way.
Especially with the boys in Reading watching the game. They're in a rain delay.
Woodfield is a double play depth. The first pitch, a fastball, and it's 0-1. Altair was born in Germany. His dad was a professional soccer player in Germany. His mom was in the service. Came back to the States as a youngster. No balls, 1 strike. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. The left-hander Dan Jennings is throwing in the pen for the Marlins. Howard on 3rd, Hernandez on 1st. One ball and 1 strike. In the dirt, 2-1. He's not anxious. Saltalamacchia did a good job blocking that pitch. But if you're Altair, he's not jumpy at all on the plate, at least not right now.
Not at all. Looks like he's seeing the ball very well. Looks very confident. Guy that doesn't, facing a guy that has no average. Cameron Rupp is hitting 143, has had minimal at bats this year in the big leagues, and then you've got a pitcher that's hitting 065 while Kyle's hitting a little bit more. He's up to 091.
Try to check his swing. It's a strike anyway. It's 3-2. Get a fly ball. Well, it won't definitely score Ryan Howard from 3rd, but it'll give the Phillies a chance.
Depends on where it's hit.
Right. I said that because I looked out and saw that Stanton was pretty shallow and ready. At least compared to the other 2 outfielders.
I watched Altair take batting practice today. It looked like he handled the bat very well and moved the ball around the whole field.
3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Threw him a changeup, and there are 2 outs. And that'll leave it for Cameron Rupp with runners on first and third.
You knew he wouldn't get a fastball in this situation. Pulled the string with the changeup. It was a good swing, but just slightly ahead of it and over top of it.
And now it's Rupp, who's 2 for 16 in the big leagues. Bob McClure comes over to chat with Ryan Sandberg because Justin DeFreitas is warming up in the bullpen for the Phillies. So if Rupp gets on and they don't score, they may pinch hit for Kendrick with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
You almost have to. Hate to say it, but you almost have to.
Rupp takes low, 1-0.
Hatcher's as of right now has shown that his out pitch is his changeup. He hasn't thrown his slider yet for a strike.
He's also monopolizing the rosin. JD. Man's got a whole lot of rosin on his hat. Two strikes to Rupp.
Now here's a situation as a pitcher, you're not necessarily looking to throw a strike, but you're looking to present a pitch that looks like a strike that ends up as a non-strike to try to get the hitter to chase something.
If you're the hitter, you have to somehow not chase it. Easier said than done.
Let's see if he throws a breaking ball here. He just threw to first base.
One ball and 2 strikes to Rupp. Fastball hit in the air down the right field line and slicing foul out of play.
Pretty healthy fastball at 97.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez will be off and running from first base.
Got to make sure he goes to the plate if you're Hernandez. Sure they don't want to get picked off here.
Kodiashi lurking. Cutter goes from first. 3-2 is hit foul over the Phillies dugout, and we'll do it again. Foul ball. Rupp is battling here. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner goes from first, and the 3-2 is into the air to right field. That's well hit. Stanton going back. It's over his head, and it's off the wall. 2 runs will score. Cameron Rupp will pull into second with a 2-run opposite field double, and the Phillies have taken the lead 3-2. Boy, that's some power right there from Cameron Rupp. His second double of the season, his first RBIs.
Cameron saw a lot of fastballs out over the plate. That one leaked back onto the plate into the outer third of the plate. And he put the barrel of the ball on that, hits it off the bottom of the wall. Giancarlo Stanton was lucky he got a glove on that and knocked it down off the carom on the wall.
So Kendrick will indeed bat thanks to Cameron Rupp's 2-run double. So Brad Hand's line is done. He's charged with 2 of the runs. Line drive foul. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Give Rupp some credit, boy. As Jamie said, he fouled off 1 pitch after another and was finally able to get a fastball that he could drive. He had 2 RBIs last year during the big leagues, and now he has 2 RBIs this year. Outside, 2-1.
I think the key pitch was the 8th pitch in that at bat was a changeup that he fouled off after seeing a couple of fastballs and a couple of a slider and a changeup that he's trying to get him to chase off the plate. He's able to foul that changeup off to get himself into the fastball count. You gotta like this at bat by Kyle too, working a 3-1 count and have him taken right here. Crawl all over the plate and take.
Well, he fouls it away, and it's 3-2. I like that, though. You know, I mean, crowd the plate and just take a strike. Make it seem like it is shrunk to half the size.
And if he hits you, you go to first base. If he throws a ball, you still go to first base. You get the top of the order up.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at second. Just barely fouls that one away, or barely gets a piece on it and fouls it away. Swing and a miss. He got him. Side is retired. Cameron Rupp's 2-run double has helped the Phils to the lead. Finally, the opposite way, off the face of the wall. He turned around Stanton, and he brought home 2, and the Phils have the lead going to the bottom of the 6th. Let's go places. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By WB Mason, you can't go wrong when you buy right. And by Budweiser. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. Phillies have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. They did in the top of the 6th. But we go to the bottom of the 6th, and Kyle Kendrick has a 1-run lead to work with. We'll have to face Casey McGee, Garrett Jones, Jared Saltalamacchia. Brad Hand, the starter for the Marlins, is charged with 3 runs, although he wasn't around when Rupp had the double to right field. He's still charged with those 3 runs. So here's McGee. He's 0 for 2.
But Hand's got to feel a little snake bitten too. I mean, these guys 1-11 in his career. He's got pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Certainly had good stuff, at least for the first 5 innings tonight. Casey McGee has struck out. He's grounded out. McGee has 1 homer and 49 runs batted in this year. Got us thinking about the best seasons in baseball for guys who had 5 home runs or less. Now you would figure you had to go back to the early 1900s, and it is true. Go back to the 20s. Back in, and even in the early 30s. Back in 1933, as that ball was rolled through the hole on the left side, Joe Cronin had 5 home runs and 118 runs batted in. Now McGee's not on pace for 118 RBIs, but he is close to the pace of 100 RBIs. Other guys like Clyde Barnhart, 4 homers, 114 RBIs in 25. George Burns, not the comedian, in 26 had 4 home runs and 115 RBIs. So what he's doing this year, whether he's able to keep it up or not, doesn't always happen in baseball. As Garrett Jones hits one to shallow left field, Altair comes running in, and he makes the catch, and there's 1 out. Now Tommy Herr, who played for the Cardinals, the Phillies, the Twins, the Mets, and the Giants during his career, back in 1985 he was an all-star. He had 8 home runs but drove in 110 RBIs. Now he may be the closest thing, or that season may be the closest thing to what McGee is putting together. Although I think of McGee as more of a home run hitter than Tommy Herr was. Here's Saltalamacchia, who's 0 for 2. And it's 0-1.
Well, Tommy Herr was very fortunate because he has had all those rabbits on base in front of it. Vince Coleman, Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith.
Well, and for McGee, it's partly because of Stanton and the opportunities, and it's also because Yelich has been good. Another fly ball to left. This one toward the line. Altair. Boy, he's a glider. Makes the catch. 2 outs. McGee goes back to first.
Big inning here for Kyle and the Phillies. Get this 3rd out. Get a tough hombre right here. Ozuna get 2 for 2 off of Kyle tonight. Both hits early in the count. But he's early count aggressive right now.
Well, Rupp just went out and had a quick conversation with Kendrick. Maybe that's what they were discussing, just how to pitch him early on.
Quality pitch first at bat, or first pitcher. Curveball, changeup, something probably off speed.
Got him to hit one to shallow right field. Utley is out. Bird is in. Utley makes the call. Side is retired. Shutdown inning for Kyle Kendrick. He allowed the leadoff single, but then left McGee over at first. No runs, 1 hit. And 1 man left. We've completed 6. The Phils, as we go to the 7th, have the lead. 3 in the 6th inning. A crooked number, any number for the Phils. It's nice to see they've taken the lead. Cameron Rupp's 2-run double. That was what wiped away the 1-run deficit. Kyle Kendrick is minimized pitches now through 6. He has 4 strikeouts. He has scattered 6 hits over 6 innings of work. Let's check in with Greg Murphy as the Phils will wrap up this series with the Marlins. Murph, get out of the National League East and head to the Central.
Yeah, they're trying to kind of reverse a trend that is a little bit disturbing against the NL East. In their first 14 games this year against the NL East, guys, 9-5. But since then, it has not been good. They've lost 17 of their next 23. And there you see it. The records against the East really do indicate where you are in the NL East, with the Braves at 24-14 against the rest of the East. The Nationals behind them at 17-13, and the Marlins creeping up there as well. And the Phils just 15-22 overall against the NL East. So hoping to get a victory here tonight against the NL East opponent in time, as you mentioned, before heading off to the Central, guys.
Yeah, I know we keep talking about the 5-year run when the Phillies won 5 straight division crowns, as Ben Revere faces Dan Jennings to start the 7th inning. But Jamie, you guys took care of business in a lot of ways during those years, and one of those big ways was wins against the division.
Well, you can make a big dent in the division. You can win in your own division and then continue to win outside of your division, especially if they continue to lose. But you can make a bigger dent when you're beating your opponents in your own division.
Most times you're facing them 18-19 times during the course of the year, each team. Revere takes outside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
And I really felt we had a big advantage against the Marlins, because they were very young, just like we saw there in the last previous inning. They had guys on base and they were first ball aggressive. And when you threw quality pitches, off speed pitches, they made a lot of silly outs or put themselves in pitchers' counts as an offense because they were swinging at pitches they should not have been swinging at.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Revere. He's 1 for 3, excuse me. Reached on an infield hit his last time. Outside, 3-2. And Revere struck out, 1 away here in the top of the 7th. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game, and this one comes from Patty Decker. And Jamie, just so you know, that's meatball.
Looks like he just had a couple of meatballs, and he's just kind of taking a nap.
Or an ice cream sundae in one of those Phillies helmet hats. Tweet your photo to hashtag Philly fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Meatball, good looking dog. No balls and 1 strike to Rollins.
Looked very comfortable, at least.
Very comfortable. Two.
I wonder if Patty has another dog called Spaghetti.
0-2 pitch. That one's pulled, foul. And it remains no balls and 2 strikes. That's a ball boy who's ready to go. He's got his wrist wrapped. But he is in full guard tonight. Look at that. Not fooling around, Jamie.
I think all the bragging he gets to do with his buddies.
I guess he's got his wrist wrapped in a Marlins uniform.
He's got that job right there, ball boy. That'd be what, 12, 13, 14 years old, maybe? Looks like it. He may be a little bit older.
Got a mustache. I'd say he's at least 17.
You think?
Yeah. Over to shortstop. And there are 2 outs, but doesn't matter how old he is. You're right. He definitely has bragging rights, and he looks pretty comfortable out there. Oh, don't forget the stars of a line for the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star Games. The best of the NL take on the American League's elite. Don't miss the action Tuesday, July 15th on Fox. Chase Utley's coming up, and he does have a decidingly large lead at second base for the National League.
2 hours and 37 minutes to vote yet.
We're winding down.
Actually, excuse me, 3 hours and 37 minutes.
I had to do a double take at my watch when you said that. 11:59. Yeah. Yep, 3 hours. Yep, 3 hours. What'd you say, 3 hours and 37?
No, it's you're making me think now. 36.
36, yeah. One to Utley. Utley started the rally in the 6th with a single up the middle. Fly ball to center field, and Ozuna will make the catch. Side is retired in order. Phillies go down 1-2-3. Second time tonight they've been retired in order. It's time to stretch here in South Florida. The Phillies lead at 3-2 here. It's going to be nice to hear from Joe Kerrigan. Heard him during the pregame show as well. Coming up after our game, Ricky Metallica goes one-on-one with rookie flamethrower Ken Giles. Don't miss Phillies Clubhouse, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Tonight, later on Comcast Sportsnet. Scheduled for 9:30. We'll see if we can hit that on the dot. So Joe will have Phillies postgame live, and Ricky will sit down with Kenny Giles. Here's Donovan Solano. He's 1 for 2. Kendrick begins the 7th. Well, whatever he's done tonight, before, during, he needs to bottle it as he moves forward. Whatever it is. Even that pitch right there, there's nothing wrong with it. I know he didn't intend to have it run into his belt buckle, but still.
Uncomfortable at bats.
Those are his numbers in his last 14 here in Miami. 10 wins. Ground ball toward third. Cesar Hernandez wheels over to first. And a quick out here in the 7th. Every time the Phillies retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Justin Bour will be the pinch hitter as Brian Morris. Man, that guy's arm's going to fall off. I think he's pitched in every game the Phillies have faced against the Marlins in the last 2 weeks. Swing and a miss by Bour.
One more. Why not?
Yeah, he's got some inexperience to him right now. And they do, and he tops it foul.
No, backdoor cutter.
He tried the backdoor cutter, just missed. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Vance Worley has a no-hitter through 5 for the Buccos. They lead the D-backs 2-0. He's pitched well since coming over from Minnesota. Ground ball right side. And after a reminder from Cameron Rupp to get on over, there are 2 outs of the 3-1 put out. Phillies won't see obviously Vanable during their 3-game series. Happy for him though. He's a great kid. Seemed like he was a little lost going over to the American League.
That can happen. Different league, different hitters. Little different style baseball. DH in the lineup, not a pitcher.
Yelich takes a cutter inside. 1-0. He's 2 for 3. Outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Kenny Giles is indeed in the bullpen.
Tommy Hallie's been pretty consistent with that ball down on the way tonight for Kyle.
Wow. Sure about that?
Except for that one.
Well, Eric Cooper cleaned it up. He said he went around. I didn't think he offered it. I thought like you did that was a strike. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, that's close.
Yeah, he swung, but if the previous pitch was a strike, that was too. You know what we haven't seen from Kyle is that comeback sinker. He hasn't used that a whole lot in the last 3 or 4 starts. He doesn't need to start using it right now. I'm not suggesting that, but it's a pitch that he's kind of completely gotten away from, and to a 4-seam fastball right there. I think he's added that to his repertoire instead.
Okay, back with a changeup, which has been good tonight. It's 3-2. Yeah, I guess sometimes you would know better than I do that you go through spurts. And in Kyle's case, it's a long spurt where you don't have to feel for certain pitches, and you kind of put it on the shelf to a certain extent.
Well, to me, you still practice it. You may not incorporate it in a game, but you still practice it. You put enough time to incorporate it and use it and have success with the big leagues. And now, maybe it's not quite as successful, but you just don't put it in your back pocket and not use it anymore.
Well, there's ball 4, so a walk to Yelich. That is the first walk issued by Kendrick tonight. Lucas is the batter.
I got to believe this is Kyle's last hitter tonight. Either way. Get him out or be taken out.
Seems to be what Bob McClure and Ryan Sandberg are discussing right now. I wonder if they get somebody else up besides Giles. Although you have a boatload of right-handers coming up until Garrett Jones. Maybe you get a lefty just in case they get to Jones, which would be problematic. First pitch to Lucas. There he goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second. No contest. He is out at second base. Yelich is saying he's safe. Here comes Mike Redmond. They'll hold the defense. Yelich reacted almost immediately. The throw definitely beat him. Whether the tag was missed or not, Rollins says that he got him. Kendrick just asked him. Yelich is saying still that he's safe. Mike Redmond will chat with Chris Guccione. Look, he's angling towards second, the back of the bag, and he's out.
Oh, he's out. Not even close. Look how Jimmy puts his foot down right in front of the bag there. It kind of takes some of the bag away from Yelich. So he forces him to the back side of the bag, and he knows exactly where Yelich is going to be when he catches the ball.
Well, this is a great angle right here because it's going to slow it down, and you watch right there. Glove, hand, out. And they have released the defense. Great throw by Cameron Rupp. He's having himself a ball game. We'll go to the 8th inning with the Phillies up by 1. You buy Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Chevrolet, visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Well, with J.B. Moyer and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. As we go to the top of the 8th inning, new pitcher for the Marlins is right-hander Brian Morris, who comes on to face Ryan Howard. Morris, 36th ball game. He's 6-0, an ERA of 2.13. He's not allowed an earned run in 14 appearances with the Marlins. And they have certainly used him. He's got 18 2/3. It'll be Howard, Bird, and then Cesar Hernandez here in the 8th. Jake Diekman's warming up in the bullpen, so you figure Kendrick is done. Well, we'll wait and see.
Tom, did you ever wonder why they put an upper deck in the stadium?
I
don't think I've been here 2 series and I haven't seen one person up there.
Yeah, well, I think that they anticipated much larger crowds when they built this place. That ball got a piece of Howard. He's hit by a pitch. Hit him right in the hands. And a base runner for the Phillies.
Your fastball looked like it might have gotten away a little bit from Morris. Just clipped Ryan in the right hand. Leadoff base runner.
So he's aboard Marlon Byrd, who's 1 for 3. All right, now your question about the upper deck. Now I would think during the soccer game, they'll fill that upper deck.
They could probably use another deck.
Yeah. But they did anticipate, with all the moves they made, whether it be Ozzie Guillen, the manager, Jose Reyes, the shortstop, Mark Burley, the lefty, you name it, they expected that this place would be filled with playoff baseball when they opened it. 0-1 to Bird. Yeah, I don't think since we've come here, I don't think there probably have been some people up in the upper deck. It's never been filled.
I wonder if they even print tickets for it.
Fly ball to shallow center, playable for Ozuna. One away, and here's our Hyundai defensive play of the game. We just saw it. It was Cameron Rupp nailing Christian Yelich.
Makes a good throw right here. And Jimmy takes away the front of that bag and forces Yelich to go to the back corner of the bag. And that's our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Well, we saw it last year, and we're watching it this year. He does have a pretty quick release. Ball gets on the second base bag pretty fast.
And a very strong arm.
Here's Cesar Hernandez, who has scored a run, driven in a run. And it's 0-1 to him. Kendrick doesn't look like a pitcher who's done. No, he did get some handshakes. There's a liner out toward left. Yelich comes on, makes the catch. Howard's caught, but Yelich doesn't throw over. And there are 2 outs. And here's Altair. There's Diekman with the studio audience behind him. Watch out, Rod. Security guard didn't flinch. Rod did, though. Altair is 0 for 3. One full game doesn't make a total impression, but my impression is that this kid is a very good defensive outfielder. May take him some time to adjust to big league pitching. There have been several plays, just the way he's reacted to the ball off the bat gives you a pretty good indication of what kind of outfielder he is.
I'd like to see him hit a ball at the gap and watch him run.
I'm with you on that. No balls, 2 strikes. Play upstairs, 1-2. The dirt gets away from Saltalamacchia. That enables Howard to go to second. And a wild pitch.
Here's a short slider. It looks like it may have hit the edge of the plate. Usually on a breaking ball, when that ball hits with the spin on it, it bounces opposite. And Saltalamacchia couldn't get his full body in front of it, carried off the left side of his body, and Ryan Howard advanced to second base.
And a foul tip, and Altera struck out. Side is retired. No runs, no hits. One man left in scoring position. On to the middle of the 8th inning. Ryan Howard and the Phils are holding on to a 1-run lead. The weekend, the Phillies take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. There are a couple of great giveaways, including Sunday the 27th. It's the Cole Hamels t-shirt, free to fans 14 and under. Compliments of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 98. Order your tickets by going to Phillies.com. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers has always had some great giveaways at Citizens Bank Park. That is a outstanding giveaway for fans. Cody Ashley will take over at third base. And Jake Diekman will take over on the mound for the Phillies. Diekman's earned run average is finally under 4. Those runs he allowed early on this season. Kept it up over 4 for a while. Ed Lucas is 0 for 3. Mentioned earlier in the series, Lucas is out of Dartmouth, where he was the Ivy League MVP his final year. He won the batting title in the Ivy League. You know, he played football his freshman year also for Dartmouth.
Did not know that.
2 different degrees. Must have had a rude awakening. He grew up here in Miami, or grew up in Florida, and then went to Hanover to Dartmouth. Talk about the difference in temperature between one state and another. Oh. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And now 3-2. fights it off, and it fouls down the right field line. And a liner to it, left center field. That's going to be in for a base hit. Revere gets to it fast. Lucas holds up at first. Leadoff man's aboard here in the 8th inning. As Giancarlo Stanton comes to the plate, it can mean only one thing. It's time for the Major League Notebook, Murph.
That's brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy University and the Oakland A's in their ballpark. The Oakland Alameda County Coliseum have agreed to a 10-year extension, keeping the club there until 2024. The deal almost didn't happen. Commissioner Bud Selig said yesterday that A's ownership could look elsewhere and think about leaving Oakland, but they worked through the night and they were able to hammer out a deal for 10 more years. And guys, we told you the other day that CC Sabathia was getting a rehab start for the Yanks down in Trenton. Well, that happened last night and he got knocked around pretty good. Then today woke up with inflammation in that knee once again, as that one squeaks in the left field. Base hit for Stanton. Inflammation in that knee again. He had an MRI. It was not good news. They have shut him down indefinitely. So CC Sabathia shut down indefinitely. And one final note that the All-Star voting, guys, ends tonight if people still want to vote.
11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Boy, that's a shame about Sabathia. He dropped a lot of weight this past offseason too. He's had knee problems before. This is just one of those that they just can't seem to figure out. Murph said he got hit around last night, but they said he was fine when he left the outing in Trenton. But it was when he woke up this morning that there was water on the knee. Well, here's Casey McGee with runners on first and second here in the bottom of the 8th. McGee has reached base safely in 27 consecutive games, thanks to his base hit in the 6th inning. And that one gets by Rupp. The runners will move up to second and third. And this 8th inning is not going well for Jake Diekman and the Phillies.
Here you see a slider. It looks like they want it away, and he pulls it. Chairman Rupp isn't expecting it down and in. It looks like he was expecting it away. That's a long way for him to go for an 84-mile-an-hour slider, and couldn't get in front of it. Tried to pick it with his glove, and got by his glove. Ends up being a wild pitch.
Rupp goes out to the mound. Here comes Bob McClure. First base is open. Garrett Jones, the left-hander, is on deck. After that, it's Salt Tulamaki, who's a switch hitter. After that, it's Ozuna. Riders lead off second and third with nobody out. One ball, no strikes to McGee, the leading hitter in the National League with runners in scoring position. And a chopper foul. The leading hitter in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position.
Those are some pretty good numbers right there, Tom.
Yeah, 71% with runners at third, less than 2 outs, 398 batting average with runners in scoring position. Side 2-1.
All of a sudden, these crowds come to life.
Chopper right side. This is going to tie the ball game up. McGee with another RBI. It's RBI number 50 on the year, and it's a 3-3 ball game. such a simple concept. Just put the ball in play. You kind of give yourself up, but you get an RBI.
And you move a runner 90 feet closer to home plate.
Yeah, that's Stanton.
It's a fastball pretty much down the middle. Cameron Rupp again was looking for that ball away. Just fights it off and gets a couple Harper to chase. Gets the RBI to tie the game at 3.
So Jeff Baker will be up as a pinch hitter for the Marlins. So he'll bat for Garrett Jones. Nobody else up in the pen for the Phils. This is Jake Diekman's inning. Outside, 1-0. Baker's thinking, hey man, he's moving too fast. I got to ask for time. In the air to right center field. This is going to give the Marlins the lead. It's going to go to the wall on one hop. Stanton will walk home. Baker's on his way to third. Utley's throw to third. Not in time. It's a 4-3 Marlins lead. Quietly, Jeff Baker has caused a lot of damage in this series, at least in the last couple of ball games.
Baker gets a fastball away from him. He puts a charge into that ball and drives it. One hops the right center field wall, and Giancarlo Stanton easily scores, and Baker easily goes into third base for a triple.
He crushed that ball the other way. These guys are getting some decent swings against Jake Diekman in this inning. The infield is in with one out. Ground ball to third. Coming home is Baker. The throw to the plate by Ashe, and they've got Baker caught in a rundown. They apply the tag. The throw to second is in time to get Saltalamacchia, who reacted late, and the side is retired. Well, that's good defense all the way around by the Phillies, but Jake Diekman allows 2 runs in the inning, and the Marlins take the lead. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Phillies will play from behind, needing some runs. Today's ball game between the Phils and the Marlins. It's only on Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post game live. A lot to talk about. A lot of good in this ball game, but the not so good is that the Phillies trail at 4-3 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Jeff Baker, who has the deciding hit, an opposite field triple, stays in the ballgame to play first base. And Steve Cishek, who's been a very good closer for the Marlins, will come into his 37th game. He's 4-3 with a 2.80 earned run average. And he will face Cameron Rupp, Cody Ashe, and then the top of the order, although it looks like the Phillies will send Tony Gwynn Jr. up as a pinch hitter here in the 9th inning. Well, Phillies have lost 6 straight, Jamie. They've lost all 6 games in, I don't want to say different ways. Every loss and every win has a different personality. But offensively, they've had trouble, obviously, during the 6-game losing streak. The bullpen is starting to leak a little bit too, which is obviously going to be a concern for Ryan Sandberg. They've given up runs these last few ball games, including tonight, and now they kind of need the offense to wake up again. They've only scored in 1 inning in today's game.
Well, and lately when they've been scoring, they have only been scoring in 1 inning, or they've scored in smaller numbers, and they haven't been able to add on to the numbers that they've created. And that sometimes proves to be troublesome.
Well, here's Tony Gwynn Jr., just 2 for 27 so far as a pinch hitter. Walks, 2 RBIs. It'll be Gwynn, Ashe, and then the top of the order. First pitch is outside, 1-0. Balls and no strikes. By the way, Vance Worley's given up his first hit in the 6th inning to Ender Inciarte. Played for the Phils for a very short period of time. Inside, 3-0 to Gwynn. Ball 4, so the tying run is aboard. And Cody Ashe's coming up. Mike Redmond's team is trying to get to within 1 game of 500, 41-43. He's done a remarkable job. Did not have an overwhelming amount of experience before he took this job here in Miami. And Ashe lifts it to right center field. Playable for Stanton. 1 gone. Oh, tomorrow we start even an hour earlier than today. It's 5 o'clock, 5:05 first pitch. But we're on the air at 5 o'clock on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies pregame live gets underway at 4:30. Here's Ben Revere showing butt, takes a strike, 0-1. Roberto Hernandez will make the start tomorrow for the Phils. And 2. Well, Cishek seems to have found the strike zone now.
Pretty tough pitch right there, backdoor slider. Now Ben's got to be in that protected mode. Try to slap the ball somewhere in a hole.
Gwynn broke, but then stopped. It's 1-2. Well, they're going to appeal this. Did he go? No. His body moved every which way. Eric Cooper's hearing it from the Marlins dugout. Now he's peeking a little bit. His body did twist. It contorted a certain way.
We actually started to swing and realized that ball may hit me.
Yep.
And then tried to move his feet as he's stopping his swing.
Taps that foul. Wynn still at first. Ashley flied out to right. There he goes. Pitches pulled through the hole, the right side of base hit. Gwynn's on his way to third. So the tying run will be at third. Ben Revere has the second hit of the night. First at third with one man down. Little run and hit there for the Phils.
Like that. Put a little action. Get base runners moving. Get the infielders moving. Allows Tony Gwynn Jr. to get to third base easily. Now the heart of your lineup coming to the plate.
So Jimmy Rollins coming up. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. The infield set up to try to turn 2. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. Cishek has only blown 1 save this year. He's 18 of 19. Last year he blew a save in Philadelphia early on in the season, but then rolled through the rest of the year without any blemishes. There goes Revere, and the pitch is in there for a strike. It's 0-2. I like that too. They weren't going to pay any mind to him. At least it seemed that way. I don't know if he knew that going in. And now Saltalamacchia goes out to talk to Cishek.
It's really surprising that they didn't.
I would agree, unless they thought that Gwynn would have come home, although they were kind of conceding the run anyway for the out by playing the infield back. Now the infield is in.
That's the go-ahead run.
Yeah,
he's just allowed to get 90 feet closer, and you've now taken yourself out of the double play.
And I'm also surprised the infield has now come in, even though the tying run is at third, because now it gives Rollins a chance to spray the ball into the outfield and allow the go-ahead run to score. They had the infield back with runners on first and third, turn 2. But now they bring the infield in. No balls and 2 strikes to Rollins. And he fouls it off to the left side. It stays 0-2. Papelbon is up in the Phillies bullpen. Ground ball back toward the middle. Solano has it coming home. Not in time. The Phillies tie it up. Revere to third. Rollins is aboard. It's a 4-4 game. And Chuck Hernandez is coming out. You know, Solano at that point, you got a fast runner at third. I think you go for the out.
You have to. He has to go to his right. He went to his right 4 or 5 steps.
He had no chance.
It wasn't a hard hit ball. Now he's got to stop and try to get control of his body and plant and make a throw. And he doesn't really make a good throw. He actually fell down after he threw the ball.
So a fielder's choice and an RBI for Jimmy Rollins to tie this ball game up. And now Utley is up with Revere at third, Rollins at first. You have good arms all the way around in the outfield, but you have very good speed at third. So Cishak has blown only his second save of the season. It's only his second blown save in 14 months. Quick throw over to first, and Rollins is back. Utley pulls it towards second on one hop, bobbled for a moment. Solano goes to first. The run scores. It's 5-4 Phillies. Ben Revere scores. Once that ball was bobbled, he saw it hit the ground. He was coming home. Four-3 on the putout at RBI for Utley. Phillies are up 5-4. They've retaken the lead.
Interesting play right here is a one-hopper to Solano. Looked like he was starting to turn his body to go to second. Then he wasn't sure when he picked it up. At least, again, for him, he got an out.
Good. He had time to go to second, though, to get that runner at second base.
Good heads-up base running by Ben Revere right there.
Yeah, once it bobbled, that's when Revere took off. 1 ball, no strikes to Howard. Howard has been on base twice. Rollins leads off second. Good size lead. 2-0. Kind of a wacky inning. Rollins goes. Pitch is swung on and missed. No throw by Saltalamacchia. Stolen base number 16 for Rollins. There are closers that don't blow games consistently. There are closers that do. This guy has only blown now 3 games in the last 13 months. 2 by the Phils. 13, 14 months. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I think he's so effective because he's so unorthodox. And he throws a little firmer than most guys do from the side.
Howard flips it fouled on a left field line. Swing and a miss. Howard is struck out. Side is retired. But the Phillies are in line to close it out in the bottom of the 9th inning as they scored 2 runs in their half of the 9th inning to take the lead. It's 5-4 Phillies, and Papa Bot is coming on. Marlins. Jonathan Papelbon is coming on. See Rollins and Utley chatting about the way that inning transforms. It's almost as if Rollins is saying once he dropped it, they're discussing that Solano play. Tony Gwynn Jr. stays in the ballgame to play center field. Jonathan Papelbon trying to pick up his 19th save of the season. Papelbon 2-1, an ERA of 1.39. Well, time now for our WBASE deliveries of the game. And this is the ground out by Rollins that tied this ball game. Rollins wound up, or I should say the fielder's choice. Rollins wound up being safe at first. So that extended the inning. Then Utley.
It's a one-hopper that Solano wasn't sure what he wanted to do with it. And after he bobbled it, only man had to play first base. But Ben Revere did a great job with base running right there to give the Phillies a lead. And those are our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
All right, so Jamie, one more big delivery left, and that's from Papelbon to try to save this one. Marcelo Ozuna will lead it off against Papelbon. First pitch is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. That's in there for a strike. By the way, Coy Hill is taken over behind the plate. Tony Gwynn Jr. pinch hit for Cameron Rupp. So Coy Hill is in there. Ozuna is 2 for 3 tonight with 2 runs scored. Swing of the miss. Boy, he really slowed that slurve up. That's 1-2.
Real good pitch right there. Looked like his fastball, but it was a lot slower and had a little break to it. Out of his hand, I guarantee you, Ozuna thought it was a fastball. Swung at it like it was a fastball.
He does get a fastball. He fouls it back. It remains 1-2. Drive, base hit it to left field for Ozuna. The tying run is aboard for the Marlins. He's 3 for 4. All right, so if you're Solano, I would think you're going to bunt here.
Most definitely. I don't think Ozuna wants the Phillies to leave town.
There's a couple of guys on this team that I think are going to be sad to see the Phillies in the Marlins series end until toward the end of the season. Larry Bowa just said getting out. That's what he just yelled, getting out. Solano from the right side, Ashian on the grass, squares, takes outside, 1-0. Ball and no strikes. It's a lot of bunts toward first. That's a good bunt. They'll get the tying run to second. Sacrifice is successful. One away. 3-4 on the put out. And Reed Johnson is going to be the pinch hitter for the Marlins.
Tell you what, we've really seen how the Marlins have been able to utilize the sac bunt this series.
I would agree with you on that.
Last night we talked about how effective and how productive it's been for their club this year. Not only the sacrifice bunt, but the sacrifice fly. We saw tonight early in the game how they produced a run, which intentionally, I mean, it was a bunt. And by getting that bunt down, forcing the defense to make a play. A lot of things can happen. Right there, they forced Ryan Howard to come in a good distance. It wasn't a bang-bang play, but it was a lot closer play than it needed to be.
Well, now the clean-shaven Reed Johnson. He had a beard last night. He chops one foul off the third base line. It's 0-1. 0 for 4 against Papelbon. That was 91 miles an hour. It looked like it had a little more giddy up on it. And Reed Johnson was late.
I think Coy Hill was looking for that fastball in on Reed Johnson's body. See where he moves.
Oh yeah.
And that ball was actually off the plate. Good job by Coy Hill to get to that ball. Shooting for a high fastball here.
And he got it. Swing and a miss. 2 outs. 1 out away from recording the save and ending this 6-game losing streak.
That ball looked rather quick too. Here, a high fastball right above Reed Johnson's hands. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Looked like it was about 94, 95 coming out of Jonathan's hand.
Yelich takes just a bit outside. 1-0. Good frame by Coy Hill. 1 ball and 1 strike. The reaction from the crowd. Honestly, Hill has done a very good job framing these last 2 pitches. Tom Hallion has given the pitchers the outside part of the plate. Watch how he kind of brings this back here. A little off maybe. Just held it there.
Actually just held it right where where he caught it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Yelich with a runner at second. And the pitch coming for Papelbon. Swing and a miss. He got him. 92 on the fastball, and the 6-game losing streak is over as the Phillies come from behind to win it 5-4 over the Miami Marlins. Cameron Rupp is our Chevrolet player of the game. Not only did he have a 2-run double the opposite way, which initially gave the Phillies a 3-2 lead, but he also threw out Christian Yelich trying to steal second base. Now the Marlins did retake the lead, and the Phillies needed their offense in the top of the 9th inning to score 2 more, and they did just that. And then Papelbon recorded his 19th save of the season. Well, it has not been an easy year for Ryan Sandberg and the Phillies, but they pull out a 1-run victory here tonight, 5-4 over the Marlins. Well, a nice job of persevering for the Phillies. You know, there have been different occasions this year where they haven't had a whole lot of life offensively, and Papelbon certainly had a whole lot of life on this fastball, and his reaction at the end, a little pump with the fist pump. It's 19 saves for Papelbon. He has certainly done his job during the course of the 2014 season. 5-4 the final score. The Phillies win it, and Murph's down on the field, or I should say in the dugout, with Cameron Rupp. Murph?
I am. A good battle back win for this Phillies team, and a much needed win, obviously, Cam. Let's start there first. You know, with the 6-game losing streak, Ryan Sandberg said to you guys today, someone step up and someone be accountable, and let's get a win tonight. And it looked like a couple of guys were able to do that today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we came out ready to play. KK gave us a hell of a game, and came out and threw strikes and kept the ball down the zone, gave us a chance to win the game.
Take us through your at bat in the 6th inning, because you battled, and I don't know how many pitches you saw, but you saw a handful of them before you were able to knock that double out.
Yeah, you know, he came right after me, and in the back of my mind, there's a base open with the pitcher behind me, and kind of got to be smart up there. But he came after me, challenged me, and made a mistake, and I capitalized on it.
You know, offensively, you got the job done, but defensively as well. And I know you take a lot of pride in your defense, and being able to throw out a runner here and there certainly does help your pitcher, and it was a big play tonight.
Absolutely. That was a big put out there for us. Good guy on the bases. He always likes to run, so we knew he was going to be running at some point, and I got a good pitch to throw on, made a good throw.
Makes the plane ride a little bit better.
Absolutely.
All right, Ken, we'll see you on there. Guys, we'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Here's Jonathan Papelbon's final pitch. A fastball at 92, and his reaction as he ends the 6-game losing streak for the Phillies. Cameron Rupp coming out to celebrate with Coy Hill. It's a 1-run win for the Phils.